They say you better listen to the voice of reason.
Hey there, two awesome movie nerds watchers. Abby here.
Elliot here.
And this week we are reviewing the second, I hope, annual.
I hope to.
This American Life live show.
Live simulcast.
Live simulcast.
Okay, so for those keeping score, follow me, people. Come on this journey with me. Two awesome movie nerds reviewing a radio show that was projected and shown in a movie theater. So really, we're being honest.
Meta.
You know, we just didn't want you to get confused there, because we're not going to be talking about the same normal stuff of plot and actors and so on and so forth, because these are real people we're talking about.
It's a bit different. It's somewhere in there between movie and documentary and concert film. So...
Yes.
Basically, that's what it is. This American Life, for those of you not familiar.
And really, if you're watching us and you don't like This American Life,
what's wrong with you?
Yeah, we like to be
Turn
encouraging.
on your radio.
Yeah, we like to be encouraging of anybody who likes to watch our videos. But if you, honest to God, don't listen to This American Life anyway,
you're crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy. So.
But This American Life has been on the air since about 1996 through WBEZ, the NPR station in Chicago.
PRI, Public Radio International.
PRI, Public
There's a
Radio
big
International.
thing. There's a fight.
They're all like this. But last year, they did their first ever simulcast. And what they did was just do a live version of their radio show, which is stories built around a certain theme, for an audience, and then broadcast that via satellite into specific movie theaters. Last year, it was kind of a smaller audience. This year, they widened it a lot and added a whole lot of really, really neat acts. And
luckily, we didn't have to go very far. The movies,
it was in Lawrence this time instead of,
fantastic.
Was it like Olathe or Overland Park? Yeah, where we went last year.
Johnson County.
Joko. But I'd say overall, this year's production was a lot better than last year's.
Far and above, much, much better.
Last year's was kind of a, I'd say an experimentation. Like, they had an idea of what they wanted to do, but not quite everything they could do with it. They did a lot of stuff from the TV show.
It was a hodgepodge. I mean, they had contributors who were famous because of the show show up, and they didn't really do anything.
Yeah, they just kind of talked.
And they're just like, hey, I'm here on stage, so now you know what I look like, as opposed to just how I sound. But this is actually a coherent show. It had a message, it had a theme, it had narratives that really sort of built off of one another in a very fascinating way, and I was just, I mean, I was geeking out last year because I thought it was so cool that I could see Ira Glass pressing the buttons at approximately the same time that he actually was pressing the buttons.
He does this cool thing with his hands where he's like conducting his
He's like, and go. But this year was much, much better.
Yeah, overall. They had some really fun presenters. They had Chris Ware, who did an animation last year. He did a couple of animations this year.
For the TV show.
Yeah, for the TV show, and for the film that we saw. It was pretty neat. And who else did they have? Mike Birbiglia, who is a stand-up comic, and if you don't know who he is, you can YouTube him after you watch this video.
Awesome essayist.
He's super fantastic. He's a stand-up who runs out of New York, and also is doing a one-man show about his sleepwalking problems, which, by the way, is a fantastic story.
He has to sleep every day in a sleeping bag, wearing mittens so that he can't get himself
How serious was that? I wasn't sure how much to believe about that. The pills I could understand, but I don't know about the sleeping bag. But anyway,
with this guy, I wouldn't put it past him.
No, it's a long story, but it's really, really fun. And he's a fantastic storyteller.
He really is. The next presenter is the lovely and teeny tiny Starlee Kine, who has one of the greatest names I've ever heard in the history of radio. And her talk is all about, you know, this time that she spent at the Hoffman Institute, which is this like hub of pop psychology where basically they give you a wiffle ball bat, and they give you a pillow, like a massive like couch cushion, and they're like, envision that this couch cushion is your parent, kill your parent.
Yeah,
I was kind of taken aback by this.
It's all about how screwed up she was by her mother, and how she tries to get over that by going to the Hoffman Institute and hanging out with other people who were similarly screwed up by their parents.
But I mean, just like the details of this, and the entire thing was like mirrored. Like she would be talking at one point of the stage, and then behind her there was this screen where all of these post-it note, like, little sketches and drawings.
It was so funny.
Were, like, illustrating everything that was going on, so we had, like, a better concept.
It was kind of Dimitri Martin-esque, actually.
It really was. But not him. It was a different artist, but I just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. And then there was Dan Savage, who did this very touching piece about the death of his mother and how that's affected him both as an atheist and also as just a person in general, his relationship with his mother and her relationship with religion and what that's meant for him.
I mean, it was... I mean, Abby and I have differing opinions many times, but I just thought this was the home run of the night. I think it was the best written, the best delivered. I mean...
Out of all of the pieces of that night, that's the one that I still think about and still kind of affects me a little bit.
Absolutely, because, I mean, the great thing about the simulcast is that, you know, he was in the moment, and you could see him, and you could hear his voice, and you see the inflection coming through on his face. And because it's live simulcast, they didn't have the opportunity to edit it out. But, I mean, there were moments when he really did lose his composure,
yeah.
and he began to break down and just emote so much more. And personally, I love that. I cherish that. I think that's some of the best things that you can possibly give to an audience is an opportunity to see you fully. And, you know, they're going to be releasing the simulcast as the radio show this coming weekend. But the problem with that is due to time, they're going to probably have to cut off some of that.
It's going to be very interesting to see how some of those things translate to radio, because some of those, like Starley Kine's, obviously started out as being very visually inflected, and then other things like Dan Savage's have specific things that are, I don't know, they come across more effectively on screen when you can see facial expressions and inflections, like Elliot said, and so that'll be something that I'll kind of look forward to hearing, just to see what the differences are there.
Absolutely. I'm just, you know, it was utterly stunning. To close out the show was an interesting choice.
Yeah, it was a little odd. I wasn't quite sure what the idea was there, but the reasoning for it I thought was kind of fun.
I thought so too. Joss Whedon, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, I mean, what else has he done? Firefly, Serenity, Dollhouse, I mean...
all that stuff.
But he was there because he, in keeping with the theme of returning to the scene of the crime, he talked about his experience of going back. Actually, he didn't really talk about it.
He sang about it. He created the super popular web series Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog. And
awesome, by the way.
Yes, and it recently came out on DVD, and of course with the DVD format comes DVD commentary, which Joss Whedon decided to do as a musical as well, because that's how awesome he is.
That's how awesome he is. So, and you know what? If you haven't, I'm going to put a link in the sidebar, because we don't really do that very often, but we're going to put a link in the sidebar, because you know what? Buy that. It's like $6, and it's amazing.
It's only $6?
I think so.
Holy cow! But anyway, the DVD commentary song that Joss Whedon did is a song about DVD commentary, basically, and I thought that was particularly funny. And Joss Whedon can't really sing,
not
but
so much.
The effort was highly appreciated.
Absolutely, and I mean, you know, by that point, I think I had totally earned. I had totally gotten my money's worth. You know, an interesting thing about this was, and they didn't really talk about it that much, but the podcast of This American Life, the ability to stream it to all the people that they do every week, and it's the top downloaded podcast on iTunes all the time, like consistently. It doesn't like fluctuate, at least that I've noticed. But the entire thing is like really expensive to be able to produce and to provide people with the bandwidth. And you know what?
They provide it for free.
They provide it for free.
The tickets are a little pricey. They're like $20, but they're going to a good cause because, I mean, they need the revenue very badly.
I mean, it's just amazing content, wonderfully produced, directed beautifully. Like, look, Abby and I could have seen 3 movies with this, but 3 movies out right now. There's nothing that would have been nearly that quality.
Yeah,
even if you
not
have
going to do the
expanded
same
time.
thing. So, basically, if you're a fan of This American Life, go see it. It's the least you can do. And if you don't know much about it, go see it anyway, because you'll love it, you'll have a great time, and you'll come away very affected.
And you're going to say, but wait, they already did it because you're reviewing it. How can you be telling me to go see it? Oh, yeah.
Rebroadcast May 7th.
So, you know what? Go forth, watch, listen, hear, experience. Yes, we're taking a break from the movies, but you know what? Every now and then, it's good to dabble in something else. So,
and we're going to be back next week with, like, what, Wolverine? I mean, come on, guys.
But anyway, we're the 2 awesome movie nerds, so go forth and watch.